Blog Talk Radio.
President recognizes Mr. Adams of Massachusetts.
Objects of the most stupendous magnitude. Measures which will affect the lives of millions, born and unborn, are now before us. We must expect a great expense of blood to obtain them. But we must always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate, as there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of greater importance to mankind. My worthy colleague from Pennsylvania has spoken with great ingenuity and eloquence. He has given you a grim prognostication of our national future, but where he foresees apocalypse, I see hope. I see a new nation ready to take its place in the world. Not an empire, but a republic. And a republic of laws, not men. Gentlemen, we are in the very midst of revolution. The most complete, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. How few of the human race have ever had an opportunity of choosing a system of government for themselves and their children. I am not without apprehensions, gentlemen. But the end we have in sight is more than worth all the means. I believe, sirs, that the hour has come. My judgment approves this measure, and my whole heart is in it. All that I have, all that I am, and all that I hope in this life, I am now ready to stake upon it. While I live, let me have a country. A free country.
What if the American people woke up and understood that the official reasons for going to war are almost always based on lies and promoted by war propaganda in order to serve special interests? What if we as a nation came to realize that the quest for empire eventually destroys all great nations? What if the American people learned the truth?
The FBI has foiled about 17 plots to kill Americans during the past 10 years. What it will not tell you is that there have been 20 foiled plots, and of them, 3 were interrupted by members of the public. The 17 that were interrupted by the feds were created by the feds. Why do we pay the government to trick us into believing it is keeping us safe? What if a government that manipulated us could be fired? What if a government that lacked the true and knowing consent of the governed could be dismissed? What if it were possible to have a real game changer? What if we need a Ron Paul to preserve and protect our freedoms from the government? What if we can make elections matter again? What if you could love your country but hate what the government has done to it? What if sometimes to love your country you had to alter or abolish the government? What if Jefferson was right? What if that government is best which governs least? What if I'm right? What if the government is wrong? What if it is dangerous to be right when the government is wrong? What if it is better to perish fighting for freedom than to live as a slave? What if freedom's greatest hour of danger is now?
It's critical that every citizen of this country rise up and do something because the day of reckoning is at hand and time is running out.
Unless we do something, we're going to get the government that we deserve.
How did you let this happen? Wake up out there. You know, it's your children. Don't you care? Look what these people are doing to you.
There are 200 million adults in this country. Why we are letting them get away with what they are, why we're not marching in the streets.
Do everything in your power to restore freedom and your individuality back to America. Stop being a country run by the institutions for the institutions. Let's go back to we the people, by the people, for the people.
We have to stop being scared. We have to stand up and do what's necessary to take back, to stop these bankers, these elite, this government full of lies, congressmen full of liars.
And the Federal Reserve, and the fractional banking system, and the Fed. Elect Ron Paul, and the war.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You, the people, have the power. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, let us all unite!
All right, there we have it. Joseph Gibson podcasting here from North Carolina. It's going to be getting cold here. We're not used to the cold weather like everyone else, I guess, but it's going to be getting cold, real cold here. Oh, man, I don't like the cold weather. Oh, I can't stand it. Please, I want 90 degrees, 95 degrees. Oh, I just can't take the cold. But anyway, I know that wind, just standing there pumping gas. Looking at the $3 a gallon, $50 bill you just spent, doesn't even fill up your gas tank. You're standing, the wind's cutting through you, and you're sitting there cold. It's like, oh, you're just getting mad. And you just look at everybody else, just putting $3 in, $4 in. People walking around the parking lot begging you for change for gas money. Guy on the corner there, work for food. Holding up the sign. Yeah. That's we're happy with that. We're content. That's just everyday life, right? That's what we're okay with that. And what we're going to do is the next election we're going to elect the same people, right? We're going to allow everyone in the same people, same faces, same songs, same voices, same message. And nothing's going to get better unless you stop it. Stop it. Stop the nonsense. Stop. Even people that we talk amongst ourselves amongst these podcast shows and whatnot, we do this. We find I listen to the same conversations. That's the same thing. It's like we went over this. What are you talking about? We have to restore our republic lawfully. We have got to return to the Constitution. All this other stuff that's going on is a corporate acting job. And meanwhile, they're leading us into World War III. Something's going to give sooner or later again. We're at this idling moment here where nothing's really going on, and but everything is really happening, if you know what I mean. And we just and they're just feeding on, attacking us and feeding off us, and we're feeding the New World Order that attacks and feeds on you. A reporter asked me a question today. It kind of stumped me in a way. I don't know why, but he was asking me this. We were doing a Zoom interview, and you still against the New World Order? Like bing, like bing, like what are you talking about? I just we're out because that resonates with anti-Semitism. What? What? Wait a second here. Time out. Excuse me. Speaking out against the New World Order makes me an anti-Semite. It makes me a racist. It makes me anti-government. Is that what? Now, this person pretty much gave me a fair shake during the interview, I think. Asking me questions, and I, didn't try to attack me, but kind of really, really kept pressing upon the fact that, are you a neo-Nazi? Are you a white supremacist? That kind of thing. And I'm like, no. But the New World Order, yes. I will speak out against that at all costs, no matter what. I will never, ever, ever capitulate to the New World Order. I will never give in. Never. I don't care if the whole world agrees with it. I will always stand up against the New World Order, the one world government, the North American Union, the African Union, whatever Asian Union, whatever European Union. I will always stand up for sovereignty, individual sovereignty, the sovereign country. I will always, 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 always stand up for the Republic. Never will I give in. You can call me whatever you want at that point then. If we've gone that far down the line, if we're going to label people, then the few of us that are fighting against, then I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I will never, ever be usurped into believing that. My mind will never, ever be twisted and shooken to the point where I will accept a one-world government. No way. No way. No way, man. But it just like shocked me when she asked me. I was like, well, because I was expecting something different. And I've been asked questions before about the New World Order and stuff, but I've never heard it expressed that way before, that I'm anti-Semite now because I'm against the New World Order. Did you know that's... No, I didn't know that, actually, and no, that's not true. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all human beings across Earth, but right now I'm concerned with my country. My country. Until we fix what's going on in our own backyard, I don't care about what's going on in the rest of the world. Like George Washington said, friends with all, alliances with none. We cannot be involved in other affairs. We need to worry about our sovereign, our borders, our country, our people. We have enough problems. We don't need all these military bases around the world. We don't need all these wars being started, funded by the bankers, both sides of each war. If that's anti-Semitic for me to say that, then I guess that's what I'll be, huh? Because I know for a fact that my God, my Creator, will stand. I know I have to answer it when I die. I know when I'm done here, I'm going to have to answer to a higher power. And I know for a fact that there's nothing good that comes from a one-world government. Nothing. Nothing at all. And for anyone to think that, or to portray others as being anti-Semite or anti-anything or extremist because they're against the New World Order, that is wrong. That is a message. If that message is being perpetrated like that, and if that's the narrative, and if that's one of the reasons why I'm being attacked because of that belief, then I'm all for it. Let's go. Put the gloves on. Let's fight it out. Let's get it going. Let's stop throwing words at each other and let's get to the battlefields, because we got to get this over with. Because enough is enough. No way, man. No way. And I've been preaching against this stuff for years. I know a lot more people are awake now, than there were years ago. Because in 2008, when I was talking about Ron Paul, people looked at me cross-eyed. Who the hell's that? What are you talking about? Now they know who I'm talking about. When I talked about ending the Fed and fractional reserve banking, like that intro was just talking about, end the Fed, end the fractional reserve banking system. People who thought you were nuts 20 years ago. But today they know what you're talking about. But we fall into the same trap, the same conversations, and we allow ourselves to be repetitive and talking about issues that we stay away from it, man. You're going down a rabbit hole. Get back to what we're fighting for here, and understand the battle that we're in. Understand the war that has to be won. So anyway, today If anyone's following my situation, my here in North Carolina, I guess I have, according to the media, a more high-profile candidacy. So they're going to be watching what the results of this election. Will these polls need to be monitored for election fraud and any type of collusion that these people here that may not want me that don't want me on the ballot, obviously, and don't want me to be elected because they know I stand for individual freedom, liberty, and the republic. So we have got to monitor the polls. I mean, I need people to stand up and rise up. I need people to be working the phones. We've got to get. I cannot be made. If I become a joke here in this election, if I'm not out there working and getting elected, if I do not get the numbers that I need to win, then what a waste! What a waste of energy, time, effort, money, and everything else, and words. It may all meant nothing because there's anything less than a victory here now, winning this and unseating the mouthpiece for the rhinos, okay, the puppet, and that they got in there now. Okay, if we can't do that in my district, then forget it. We are lost. We are lost. Doesn't matter what else happens because you have to start locally. We can have the best president in the world, then have every other office in the country with New World Order thugs, and we're not going to get nowhere. We'll still lose. We'll just end up with the same nonsense. We'll end up with marching in the street, the Dollar General's burning down, and all this woke movement, and it's just going to keep getting twisted. We'll have drag queens teaching our kids in schools. You're not. It's going to be the same nonsense, and and I just don't think that really we have a moral foundation strong enough to resist that. So we got to stop this, no matter how silly the message may sound or how much you think the narrative is that you may. Ooh, I don't want to be called an anti-Semite, so I better be careful not to talk about the New World Order out open anymore. They're going to shame you into standing up for freedom? No way. No way. And you Christians out there and all you others out there that are so-called patriots in the patriot movement, get off your rear end and let's start doing this. And stop talking about the nonsense. Don't get trapped in these wasteful conversations that don't mean anything and are not going to get us anywhere. We don't have time to waste words anymore. Because look, I'm out. I believe we got to handle this peacefully. I'm not advocating violence whatsoever, but at the same time, how much more can we take of this? Our grievances are being expressed, but really they're not. All of us are not out there voicing our opinion right now, because I believe that if we were all out there talking against this crap that's happening to us, if we were all out there exercising and change these people and unseat these incumbents and unseat these people that have been in office forever, repetitively, that have done the same darn thing over and over, that have changed nothing, why? By hearing the same voices over and over every election. Get rid of them. Send them home. Turn the lights off, send them home. Tell them pack up their offices, get a little cardboard box, pack your stuff up, all your crap, throw it in there, turn the lights off, and get out of here. Go home. Go back to your beach house, go back to wherever you go, whatever hole you crawled out of, and go back. Because we don't want you anymore. You're liars. You've lied to us. You've done nothing but make things worse. Your policies, your over-government regulation, your constant oppression, I need more cops and more police, more jails, lock them all up, crap, that attitude, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. I don't want a police state. I want my freedom. Okay? What I want is accountability, responsibility, and truth. And why a maggot lawyer? First of all, lawyers, they shouldn't even be able to. They swear an oath to the bar, okay? A foreign entity. They should have no right whatsoever, according to the Constitution, to have anything to do with politics in this country. Nothing. They swear an oath to something else. They don't swear an oath to the Constitution. If you take an oath that's against what we believe in and what this country was founded upon, then you've got no business in any policy making. You should be excluded from the ballot. You should have your voting rights restricted. You are the one that lost your rights, pal. When you take an oath to a foreign entity, then you lose your rights. How about that? Whoa, that's a different type of way of thinking, isn't it? That's what we should be doing. That's what we need to be speaking out against. We need to start setting the record straight here. We can't live a lie. He's crazy. He's an he's extremist. He's nuts. He's a conspiracy theorist. That's old. Forget it. That worked 15 years ago. You may have got one over on me then, but not anymore. People know it's not a conspiracy theory. We know the facts. We know the truth, and we know what's happening. And we understand the agenda of a lot of these people now. And we understand how the banking cartels work. Okay, a lot of people put a lot of tired, effortlessly time into educating people, educating our neighbors, making that sacrifice to put this information out there so people can finally wake up and understand the truth and the facts. So stop the nonsense. And that goes for people on these podcast shows too. Stop going down these rabbit holes, arguing about nonsense. Don't care about Obama's birth certificate no more, okay? It's nonsense. Stop. It's irrelevant. All right? We got to move on. Move on from this. Fish to fry. We got to worry about bigger things. Got to start handling this. I mean, I just don't know how else to motivate people out there to kick them in the rear end and let's get going here. Enough is enough. So anyway, with the Board of Elections today, they did the right thing. It was a miracle. They obeyed their own laws and statutes and codes. They obeyed them. Not a lot of double talk, a lot of back and forth, a lot of geez, I wish I didn't have to do this, but he got us over a barrel on this one because it's the law. So and I'm right, you're wrong, left, right, no, straight, backwards, no, which way? I don't know, because that's what the codes and statutes are all about. They're all a bunch of gibberish, nonsense, legal mumbo jumbo that doesn't make sense to the average person out there. And you shouldn't have to go to law school for 25 years to understand what shall and may mean, okay? So stop it. Stop it. We got to get rid of this nonsense. We need to start deregulating and abolishing using the nullification powers and process to start scaling back a lot of this nonsense that's destroying us in this country. Just one real quick, occupational licensing boards. I think they've gone crazy with those. You need a license for everything now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We've got to stop it. Okay, that's not what America is about. It's not a good thing. There's so many other things out there and issues and problems that we have to face, but first we've got to get our act together and we've got to make sure we elect the right people. This election is huge. This is big. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. No, the midterm, the next time around isn't the big one. This is the big one. This November is coming up, and these primaries that we're going to be having, this one coming up March 5th, these are big. We've got to get rid of these people that have been a voice there forever, because these people have been bought and sold and played over and rolled over so many times it's not even funny. Their pockets are lined with dirty money, okay? These people spending $8 million to get a job that pays $75,000 a year. Doesn't a red flag go up right there? Okay? Stop it. Stop the nonsense. Our leaders are misleaders. Oh, red flag, red flag. The ADL says that's a term right there that is anti-Semitic according to the ADL. Our leaders are misleaders. Yep, that's what they said in an article about me. I use that term, and that makes me an anti-Semite too. They got a screenshot. Somebody else takes a screenshot of another person's computer screen, I guess, of somebody typing a post about me on a Telegram channel, and that makes me a neo-Nazi. Just stop the baloney, man. Cut it out. Cut it out. We've got to stop this. I just don't know how else to say it. Stop. How many politicians have to swear and pledge loyalty to Israel before they swear in? Well, it's not just it's the bar associated. It's every other place. I mean, again, I don't want to get into the narrative of singling out one group, one person, because that's not right. We have to point out the facts to everybody about everything that's happening. We need to worry about our republic here in America. We have so many problems right now. Our borders are unsecure. We have so much corruption. It's just everything we're doing is just backwards. It doesn't work. And to go back using the same thing, when you get tough on crime, build 30 more prisons, and let's lock them all up. No, that doesn't work either. We can't do that. You can't just start locking up segments of our society and throwing away the key. Mandatory minimum sentences. No, the punishment, the way we punish people for the way they transgress against society is all backwards and wrong. It doesn't work. First of all, it's a deception from the get-go, just like the Federal Reserve. It's a lie. They call it the Department of Corrections. You know damn well they're not correcting anything. There's no corrections. It's a warehouse. That's just a human warehouse. Okay? The human warehouse revolving door. That's what it should be called. The big sign on the building, that's the name of the jails. That's what they should be. Because that's what they are. Okay? It's a money-making piss pot of nonsense and ruins and destroys people's lives and families. And when you destroy the family, you destroy pretty much everything, the moral fabric of this country. Doesn't matter what people, what group you come from, or whatever. If you get put in there, it's just wrong. And now let's back up and go to the judicial, the courts, the revenue factories. There's no justice there. There's no truth. It's gridlock. And people get lost and shuffled into this madness. Again, another institution that's broken, a branch of our government that's broken. Stop it. Stop. It's got to stop. Our money, our monetary policies, fractional reserve banking, the rich getting richer, and the poor gets poorer. It's got to stop. There's so many different ways to go about fixing things, but first we've got to deregulate, and we've got to really, really, really use our nullification powers and use the Constitution. We've got to restore the Constitution and make that's the framework for what we have to abide by. The founders gave us the tools to work with. We've got to use it. We've got to restore common law, the Article 3 courts. We've got to get back to this. We've lost that. The corporation has taken over, and now we're all tricked and induced into these contracts, these illegal contracts they have us involved in, and it's wrong. And a lot of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, and that's a shame. A lot of you do know what I'm talking about, and I'm not talking about going to extremes here. I don't need a license plate and putting a paper plate on your car, and to talk about you're free. Now, you don't do that stupid nonsense either. We have to have some sort of certification or something, but again, the way we go about it is wrong. It feeds the rich and buries the poor, and we've got to stop this mentality, this way of doing things. That's the normalcy of the way we've been brought up and taught. That this is okay, the way it works, and we know it's broken, but we keep doing it over and over and over again. It's called madness. It's called being craziness. You got to stop the cycles of madness. I mean, I'm one person, but we could start locally, and everyone in their local areas starts there. Make a name for yourself. Go out there and go against the norm. They call me an extremist. Extremist. What are you talking about, extreme? Extreme what? I'm not no extremist, anti-government. How could you say I'm anti-government when I'm talking about the Constitution? And I preach the Constitution and restoring our republic. How could you say something like that? How could you label me like that? Who would do such a thing? What's the point behind doing that? Why are they doing that? I want answers. I want to know why. Where are you getting these titles from? Who's telling you to say this? Who's in charge of you? Let's get to the bottom of this. Why would you do that? You have to have a reason. We have to get to the truth. And those of you who are cooperating with this, you are guilty of contempt of Constitution and treason. You are the insurrectionists. You are the ones that are making this country wrong and are destroying the moral fabric, the foundations of this country. You are going along with that type of stuff, then you're wrong. And you need to look in the mirror and repent and apologize and say you're wrong and say, look, I'm going to do things differently now. You have to. Because you're destroying this country, you just have to. You got to stop this. I just don't know how else or what other way to convey the message. There's nothing extreme about what I said. There's nothing anti-Semitic about what I said. There's nothing racist about what I said. Everything I said is preaching a message of freedom and hope and change in the right way and right direction. And doing things the right way. We can never be perfect, I know that, but we could try to make a more perfect union in this country and restore our republic and our Constitution. And believe me, we will be better off and happier as a people when we fix everything. And, we will. Just look at the history and look at the foundations of what we originally had and what we've accomplished as a country. With all the bad that was involved with it and all the mistakes we made in between, we still look what we've accomplished. Imagine if we would have cleaned stuff up a lot quicker and made things different and realized our mistakes and went about things the right way from the very beginning. I know at that time in history we couldn't, because it would have been an impossibility, because we had a lot of people that thought of a certain way, had a standard way of thinking, and the world was a different place. But now we live in a more modern, sophisticated society. We have communication, instant communication. We have the tools and the capability of fixing things. But our own stubborn will won't give in and admit we're wrong and try to do things the right way. We just won't do it. Because we don't want to give up that brand new car in the garage. We're afraid we might lose it. On my big house on the beach. Oh, look at all my worries, my big fat bank account. Nobody wants to sacrifice, right? Nobody wants to give up anything. Well, you're going to, because they're going to take it from you. So you might as well just give it up for the right reason and start fighting for the right side. Fight for the republic and restoring our republic. 657-383-0616. Press the number 1 if you got one. Make a comment or ask any questions, and I'll get you on here on the line here. It's uncensored, unscreened. Nobody has to say their name. You can remain anonymous. Don't worry. Some of you I already know, but but I'm again. You're gonna have. I have a lot of people that are monitoring this podcast. I'm gonna tell you that right now, and a lot of them probably don't have good intentions either. So, and they're just waiting for me to say the wrong thing so they can use it against me. So don't be an idiot when you call in. All right? All right, let's see here. What we got here? Let's see. We got a couple hands up here. Let's see. Number 1, first caller. Go ahead there. 323.
Hey, Joe. This is Joe. How you doing?
Joey. All right. How you doing? As you know, I won my hearing today.
What happened with your hearing?
I said I won my hearing today. If you weren't paying attention or didn't know, remember they tried appealing the County Board of Elections decision from last week, where they wanted me removed from the ballot, and I remember they voted 3-2 in my favor. Well, they appealed that to the State Board of Elections today, and the State Board of Elections ruled unanimously that no, I should remain on the ballot.
Okay, good. So you can campaign then?
Yes, I'm free to campaign. Okay. I'm free to, and everybody's free to vote for me. So I'm in there.
Vote for you. All right, good. So let me ask you this. Who are making these accusations about your being an anti-Semite, and what kind of examples are they giving?
Well, I just told. Well, one is this news reporter today was doing an interview, said that because she said, do you still take a open stance against the New World Order? Do you not? And then quickly she said, you understand that saying those things is anti-Semitic. So being against the New World Order is
besides that, that's ridiculous. I mean, does anybody have any basis of any examples for your being an anti-Semite, of calling somebody who was Jewish a kike, or expressing views in favor of Hitler or for Stalin, or for has anybody ever given any examples whatsoever of something like that, even on your show?
Nope.
No. All right.
No.
So nobody can come up with any examples.
They got a screenshot of a Telegram channel, I guess, of someone else now saying something along the lines of we support Joseph Gibson or something like that. I have to look it back up, but don't quote me exact, but it says something along they support me, and I guess it was from a neo-Nazi website. So I guess they support me, which I didn't ask for their support. Well, I didn't ask for their support. What am I supposed to do? They can say what they want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they can say anything they want, but they have. Let's say, for example, if I was running for office and communists were saying, "Vote for Joe," he's our boy in Montana, that would be a kind of harmful because it could be misinterpreted. So anything like that can count. All right, look, as long as you don't have any specific examples of your siding with some sort of Aryan nation or a National Socialist group or with some Hitler group, then their claims are baseless. But if they have any kind of examples, then you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, of course. I know that. I understand that. But again, it's not. I am pro-Constitution. Now, my show over the years, I have interviewed many, 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 many different types of people. We've had Black Panthers on this show. What's that mean then? You know, we've had, and I have had neo-Nazis call in. As a matter of fact, I've had one call in and threaten me once. So what's that mean? You know, so again, you know, I just don't understand. I have an open internet platform where I do shows where open phones where I say, hey, everybody call in, and whoever calls in, you've heard it, Joe. You've been on here. I mean, what? How called into my show?
So the thing is, of course, you have to defend yourself that way. If you're going to be any kind of show and you're going to have multiple types of categories of people, then I don't see how your critics can criticize you. But if you've been favoring certain types of anti-constitutionalists, anti-white, anti-Semitic, anti-black, that could be, detrimental to you. So you have to know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Joe, I think I remember even had BLM on here. I had the Black Lives Matter, the one that was in charge of for North Carolina on here, interviewed her. She came on, actually, and we had a great conversation, actually. You know, so she supported the Constitution, and the media has given them a black eye for no reason. According to the interview I got and I did with this woman, she was for the Constitution, believed in a lot of what I believe in, and, you know, was against a lot of the things that were happening in 2020 at that time. So I'm just using an example here. You know, I've interviewed so many different people from walks of life, you know, and that, that's how,
is that
how
the
I
same
am.
one who bought a $1 million house in a white neighborhood?
No,
okay.
That's not the same one. No, I would have went after that one right away, but no.
Yeah,
but
because she's a confirmed Marxist.
Yeah. But anyway, this came up afterwards, Joe. This came up afterwards, and of course they attacked the fact of the jail thing too. You know, my record from 32 years ago, me working as an informant. See, they skipped all that stuff, me working for the government. But they wanted to know the jail. And then they said today, too, which, again, I disagree with at the Board of Elections, they said I was convicted of first-degree robbery. I was never convicted of first-degree robbery. That is a lie. That is not true. You know, so, and I was biting my tongue so much. I was so angry when he was saying that, you know. Because, first of all, let me explain this to you. 10 years, after 10 years, according to state law in Connecticut, your record is expunged. Okay, and my record was sealed anyway because of everything that was going on in 1999. So I don't know, there's this background report that they got from Lexis, which is not even a legitimate background checking company. Okay, it's not valid, and they weren't supposed to do a background check on me anyway because after 7 years, you have to get the person's permission when you're applying for a job or state agency or board position. So, therefore, they didn't get no consent from me.
I didn't know
that's
that.
What the law said.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting, huh?
So when you say they say that you were convicted, is that, and you say no, are you using the technicality of your records being expunged, or are they saying you were convicted and it doesn't matter if you were expunged, if your records were expunged?
Well, I'm using the fact that, first of all, I was robbery first. I never committed that charge. I never committed that crime, robbery in the first degree. Never.
I've
never been
because
arrested.
that's a difference. That's a major difference.
Yes, I agree.
All right, because if you say, well, my records were expunged, they're going to think that you're trying to avoid the question. So if you say, hey, look, I don't care what the technicality is. I was never involved in any robbery whatsoever on the planet, the next planet, the next universe, period.
Yeah.
And that goes,
and then,
hey,
But then Joe, also this lawyer, right? He says again, he plays an excerpt from my podcast show on the during the county board hearing. He plays he wants to put that on the record.
I told you they do. They take a look at that show. I told you. Yeah. Yep. What they try to do. Jesus.
Well, he starts playing it, right? And he's trying to say that I knew about the hearing, the hearing that I didn't show up for on January 3rd. He's trying to say I said it on my podcast show. I said on my podcast show, having a conversation with Sarge, right? Because he plays an excerpt with me and Sarge, right? And I'm giggling and laughing, and Sarge is making a point, and it goes on for about 2 or 3 minutes, and nothing is really said. So I objected to it. I said, well, how much more we got to listen to this nonsense? Are we going to listen to the whole 3-hour show? So they stopped it, and he wasn't allowed to play anymore. But he did something very disingenuous. He brought it up again today, and he said that I said those things, and that's not true. He lied. There's nothing on the record that says I said I knew the hearing was happening on January 3rd. There's nothing. And on my podcast show, I have a clip actually. I downloaded. I'll play it here in a little bit. But where I state very clearly, I did not know that the hearing was January 3rd. I said I got a phone call, and I was told that there was a notice of challenge, that somebody was challenging me being on the ballot, and that they would let me know when the hearing was. That's what happened. That's what really happened, and that's what was said on my show. That's the truth, and I'm going to play that for everyone to hear, so in case they are listening.
Okay, and then, all right, good. Then if there's another hearing, then you can play that in rebuttal.
Exactly. Then they can make my podcast show the record again. Maybe we'll have you on there too, huh?
Yeah, they probably
you
will.
You and Liberal Dan.
Yeah, why not?
The Liberal Dan.
I don't care. They can have my. I don't think anybody. Well, anybody can twist anybody's words if they take anything out of context.
Oh, yeah.
But as long as they're within context, I don't think anybody can have anything against me about anything I've said. And if I have, I'll just apologize and say I was thinking of two things at the same time, and if I said something that was actually offensive, then I apologize. There was a girl whose show was on the other day, and she was getting slightly offended because I was using the word chick. And if we had the conversation any further, I would have said, no, I'm not supposed to alter my words for your sensibilities. Chick has not, in my estimation, ever been offensive until recently, because chick is the equivalent if you want to call me a dude. It's not offensive to me, never has been offensive to guys. I don't see why chicks should be offensive to women unless they want to be victims. So if I have to have a conversation, that's what I'm going to go through. So this idea, like what they're using against you and what they would use against somebody like me, I don't give a shit. I can defend myself. I'll tell them exactly what I mean in a way that only the stupidest of the stupidest wouldn't be able to understand. So I don't really care, but I'm not running for office either.
I know, but you see, we allow it here, the political stuff, right, the game, and now we start allowing it in our employment life, when we come and get hired for jobs or our workplace, and then we start allowing it in our schools, and we start allowing it everywhere, and then just walking down the street, if you say something, you get the camera lights up, you've been penalized 2 demerits or whatever, and they throw you in jail. I mean, how far are we going to allow this tyranny, this 1984 to continue? This process, or George Orwell's 1984 come true.
It's a damn good question. In Canada, they're thinking about instituting a law that I forget exactly what the context of it is, but it's extremely dangerous in the type of 1984 context that you're using right now. Everything right now is 1984. I was wondering years ago why they were trying to institute hate crimes. Because a crime, anytime you commit a crime against somebody, it's not a hate crime per se, but you don't like the person that you commit a crime against. So now I know it's used as a slippery slope for this censorship and the inculcation of these stupid ideologies into the minds of the impressionable kids, so that they grow up thinking that black is white, white is black, up is down, and down is up. So that's why, the 1984 analogy you're using is a good one.
Yeah, I got a private caller here, Joe. So I know you like to say
I'll get myself ready.
But, all right, let's get the private caller on. Let's go private caller. Who we got here?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe and Joe. Joe. How both of you doing?
Yeah.
Hey,
how you doing, Sarge?
Pretty good, man. I'm liking the way this conversation is going for the issues that are being raised. And one thing that really bugs me to no end about this sort of thing, when people get smeared and they say, well, you can't believe anything they say because they're X, Y, and Z, or they're associated with people who are X, Y, and Z, and, they're to be dismissed entirely. Now, let me give an example of what I mean as to why this is specious thinking. Now, I think we can all agree that the Nazis of World War II were not exactly the nicest people in the world and committed a great deal of human abuses, war crimes, crimes against humanity, all that. We can agree that it certainly occurred. Now, we can argue about the extent, but we can't argue that it didn't happen. Now, the Nazis came up with evidence that the Soviet Union was responsible for the massacre of 50,000 Polish officers and members of the Polish intelligentsia in the Katyn Woods in Poland. And they presented their evidence to the world and invited the world to come and look at the evidence they collected, that it was the Soviet Union ordered by Stalin, members of the NKVD, who did it. And everybody was quick to dismiss it because it came from the Nazis. Oh, Nazi propaganda. They're trying to deflect from their own crime. Yeah, we know. Yeah, they can't tell the truth. We can't believe anything they say. And it wasn't until the 90s when the truth finally was admitted to after the breakup of the Soviet Union. And, then the Russians made an apology and all this stuff to the Poles as a result of it. I say all that to say is truth is not dependent upon whether someone is likable or not. Yeah, someone who's not likable may be a liar, but not in all things. And you can't just automatically dismiss someone because you don't like them. I mean, after all, you got who's hoped to put John Gotti away, one of his biggest hitmen, Samuel Gravano.
There you go.
He got up there, but he was able to tell the truth. They will corroborate his sworn testimony, and therefore his testimony was accepted. Now, look, I know you've had on your program people who the New World Order and the Government Disinformation Board that they're still secretly trying to create would not think it's nice company. They would not want you to have them on whatsoever. I've been on the air with them. I've discussed with some of them. But you're devoted to free speech. You're a free speech act. You believe people should be able to speak their minds honestly as long as they're civil. And when I was on with them and we were discussing things, you made it clear to them you would not accept racial attacks or abuses. You would admonish them. Sometimes you would just cut them off because you believe in free speech and allowing people to make up their own minds about things. And that's always a very good thing to do, and you did exactly that. And I've heard you. So your feelings on Israel, for instance, are pretty much like mine, especially with regard to the current situation. I don't express unqualified support for Israel. I never have. Hell, I don't even express unqualified support for the policies of my own government. But you have said, as have I, that Israel has the right to respond in a manner comparable to what they're doing now, given the gravity of the offense that was done to them on October 7th. I don't think an anti-Semite would say such a thing. You'd probably be chanting with the rest of them saying from the river to the sea. But you're not. You're saying that Israel has the right as a sovereign nation to defend itself against this kind of attack, which obviously it does. So, look, I think any of these things they say about you should be relatively easy to dismiss, provided you get an honest forum willing to listen to what you have to say. And what you should be able to do is to be able to express that and do exactly that. I think you can back it up substantively and with objective proof.
Yeah.
And by the way, if they say you were convicted of a robbery, that's and they put it in print, libel.
I know. I'm looking into that now, actually. Yeah, because
look into the process. Consult with a lawyer about whether or not you got a case for libel.
Yeah. And they did put it in print. They printed up a lot of stuff, and whether or not the procedure.
Now, did they say you were arrested, or did they say you were arrested, or did they say you were arrested and convicted, or what?
Yeah, arrested and convicted and went to jail for robbery in the first degree. I never was charged with robbery in the first degree, and never was arrested. Never did time for it. Never.
Well, I think you have an actionable case then.
That's a very serious
you have an
charge,
actionable case then. If they put that in print, or if they didn't put it in print, it's slander. If they put it in print, it's libel.
Well, they put it in print.
So you should have an actionable case if they did.
Yeah. Yep. I'm looking into that because again, it's like Joe was just making out the point there. I'm not just trying to say because of the 10-year rule or it's expunged because of that. No. Many of the things and charges that they had, they were saying I committed burglaries in residential burglaries at the hearing. They have been writing. That's never happened. I never broke into anybody's home. What are you, crazy? I never. No, I was so mad. And they were, well, it's established that he's a convicted felon. No, it isn't established.
Look, Joe, we all know what's behind this. Ever more, we are being told what is allowable, how far the Overton window of acceptable discourse can be open. And dare you not exceed the limits of that window aperture. If you do, we're coming down on you with the whole force of the modern-day cancel culture in every respect. They are circumscribing our speech. They are telling us it has boundaries beyond which, like I just mentioned, libel, that ain't okay. Slander, that's not okay. Incitement to violence, that's not protected. Incitement to fraud or any other criminality, none of that is acceptable. Everything else is. And they're trying to tell us, no, it isn't. We still have certain things beyond which you can't be allowed to go.
Yeah.
That's got to be shut down.
Right. It's got to be stopped. You're right. It has to be stood up against and shut down and stopped. Because if folks, and everybody that's out there is listening, this is serious business. You start allowing the media and groups and boards and members of your society or whatnot, your neighbors say things about you that are not true, and they put it on the record, and now that's part of the record. And they start implementing this against you, and and that's dangerous. That is wrong. That's your name. I mean, this is very serious business. I mean, now that I'll be labeled a convicted felon.
Tell me something, Joe.
Yeah.
Tell me something, Joe. I'm against child sexual assault, pederasty, a whole bunch of things. I'm against child sexual mutilation. Tell me something. If a National Socialist is against that too, am I supposed to pull my support for that position just because they're for it too? Honestly,
no.
I swear sometimes listen to some of these people, if they say, well, National Socialists pretend say they're patriots. Well, so do I. Does that mean I'm supposed to give up, want to be a patriot?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm really sick of these people and the way they want to guide you along the directed path of what they think you ought to be allowed to say and to think. I've had it with them, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not playing their game anymore. I'm going to challenge them every time. It just came up the other day. It just came up yesterday when I was talking about Martin Luther King Day. Oh, God, because I don't go along with the narrative.
Yeah.
About Martin Luther King Day. I say, he's not a saint. He's subject to criticism. He was a great man. He inspired me when he was alive, and I listened to him. But nonetheless, he was flawed, and much of his philosophy was flawed, and we ought to be able to talk about it. But, they say, no, this is the day to celebrate. You're not supposed to say anything but this. That's not the way it works.
No. But Sarge, the headlines are right now at 6 o'clock news here in North Carolina. Alleged Nazi remains on ballot. Alleged Nazi. That's what they're calling me. Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, see, they kind of hedge their bets by calling you an alleged Nazi.
Yeah, they kind of cover. Yeah, I know.
They can always say that. Well, they can always say, well, someone else said you, or they allege you are Nazi. We're just reporting the fact that they allege you are Nazi.
Yeah, he's right about the Diane.
So,
Let me. I got Ron. I got Ron here too. Wants to jump in the conversation. Go ahead there, 417. I got to connect Joe back to it. Go ahead there, Mr. Four. I think that's you, Ron. Right?
Yeah, that's me. First off, I don't know how you qualify as a Nazi. You do not work for fucking Walmart at the door. So
I'm not a door greeter.
You right there. Yeah, you're not a door greeter. The Walmart Nazis, they're a group now. It's funny. It is funny the shit they sling, all the lies and bullshit they do to get what they want. And it's okay.
I know.
They think it's fucking okay. You say it, oh no, God, Jesus. You no good, dirty, rotten motherfucker. You. So, I believe in freedom of speech. I do. And there is a right to it. But here's the deal. You better have something to back that shit up you're talking about. If you ain't got nothing to back what you're saying up, it's bullshit. And that's what they're pumping you with. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Made up bullshit, propaganda, and bullshit. So now they're not thinking that you're smart enough to find there's a legal provocation in this fucking issue, but there's a lot of them. Like Sarge said, there is a lot of this. So that's good. That's cool. So when you come to Table Rock Lake down here in Branson, Missouri, hook me up. You know what I'm saying? I want to ride on your fucking yacht that they bought you. You know, the fucking douchebags. But anyway, I believe in freedom of speech. I don't care what word you use. I don't. You have that right. But have something to back it up. Don't tell stories and fictitious tales unless you announce that they're fictitious tales. Well, this might not be true, but, Ron Reck's an asshole. But I don't know if it's true. I can't, I could, but, I can't. You see what I'm saying? That's the whole point. But they're not doing it. They're just throwing this shit out there. We have to do something to destroy this guy. He's not right. He's not part of us. He's not part of our clique. He's got to be destroyed. And that's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're trying to do. But there again, they're also thinking the fact, well, this guy's too stupid. He ain't going to figure this out. What we're doing is wrong. So we're just going to do it. Well, I'd be getting home. Where is your source? Where did you get this information? Dumb this no good motherfucker. Where is the public record of this?
Yeah.
Is that what you're basing this on? Because it has to be. Because everything you are saying they're saying you did is public record. So...
Listen to this. Listen to this. This is the headlines right here, Ron. Listen to this. This is the North Carolina House Republican Caucus Director, Stephen Wiley. Okay, right here. This maggot bottom-dwelling moonbat right here. This is what he says. Okay. He says, convicted NC candidate with neo-Nazi ties to stay on ballot despite political assassination from GOP. It says North Carolina State Board of Elections has decided to allow Joseph Gibson III, a GOP candidate and convicted felon with alleged neo-Nazi ties, to remain on the ballot. Finding that his citizenship rights have been restored, News and Observer reports, State House GOP Caucus Director Stephen Wiley, according to the report, first raised the alarm about Gibson. So he's responsible for this. After finding out he had been convicted of several felonies, including robbery. There it is, right there, untrue. While living in Connecticut, he then found Gibson has ties to a neo-Nazi organization, saying he's got pretty despicable views and doesn't have any room in the polite society as far as I'm concerned. What's he trying to say?
Well, where's the information? Where is the information, bro? I need to get with you on the side of this show and stuff. We'll talk in private. But I need to know this. Now, because I'm a reporter, so I need to investigate this case. So I need to call this motherfucker up and ask, well, okay, what do you mean? What public record is it? Can you send me a copy of this public record that you're claiming these, claims that this guy is this and that and all this stuff? And, I can't seem to find nothing on the public record in that state, that. And how do you consider that he is tied in with the neo-Nazis? Is he a Klan member? Has he been into a meeting lately? Does he have his own cape? Has he run across his yard lately? Have we got any documentation of that, any video? It would really be great and helpful for me to understand this. But that's it. You question him out. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, because my personal opinion, you need to fight him back now. I mean, something's got to get filed. You know what I mean?
He also put this. I'm going to post it in the chat room, but he also says, News and Observer also notes Wiley anticipated this result, saying, I fully expect us to lose and for Mr. Gibson to remain on the ballot. And then I fully expect Representative Pirtle will be able to handily beat him on the primary date. That's what he says. So he's already got the election won for Mr. Pirtle. I guess the voters don't matter, right? So I'm going to post this article.
But they're lying to the voters. You got to get out to the voters and explain this is not true. This guy is straight up lying to you. and this is the guy you want to be there, these things are not true. I mean, you need to post that shit all over the place. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But
I'll deal with you a little later on, and we'll get connected. I'll start rattling some cages. I'm good at that.
Yes, I love it.
So,
I'm not letting this go. I'm like I said, put the gloves on. Let's go. 406. Let me bring on 406 here. Yeah, definitely. I'm down for a fight. Let's do it. What the hell? They already got me. I'm in the ring.
I live for this shit. I live for it. Trust me.
All right.
406.
I'm back. Yeah, my other phone keeps hanging up on me. So I'm using this number.
All right. I got 907 who wants to jump in here, so we'll bring him on here. 907.
Okay.
Welcome, whoever this is.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Sounds like we got some. Sounds like if you play your cards right, you can get a hell of a lot of money for your campaign by filing a lawsuit against that reporter.
Yeah.
And
the GOP guy, Wiley, he's the one that started all this. This Wiley guy is the one that started all this, I found out now, according to this article. He's the one that started all this. This guy, Wiley, who's the Republican, I never even heard of him, actually, but he's the North Carolina House Republican Caucus Director. He's the caucus director. So,
that's good news, though. You know why? Because that guy is higher up in the Republican Party, and if he's saying that you were actually convicted and involved in a robbery, as opposed to the reporter saying it, then it's like Ron was talking about, the guy will not have any proof. And as Sarge was talking about, it's libel. I think you can make that that article by the newspaper work for you in a very big way.
Yeah, because I was never convicted of any robbery, never arrested for any robbery in the first degree. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, and then when your opponent starts to bring that stuff up in the campaign, you can just sit back and say, you want to continue saying that stuff on the campaign trail? That's fine. We will talk about it in court.
Well, they quote this, guys. Let's get to the bottom of this now. They quote a report from the Anti-Defamation League. Okay? Now, what is the Anti-Defamation League? What's their foundation? Does anyone know? I mean, who are these people? I mean, now this came out 3 years ago, this article. And again, none of this stuff was brought up during the last campaign. So this article was out during my last campaign because they quote this, actually, because they're talking about my last campaign, the Anti-Defamation League, ADL. So this has been out for years, I guess, this article. And, it's insane. I mean, this is crazy. The stuff that they write.
One time, many years ago.
What makes me, listen, Joe, in this article it said, what makes me a neo-Nazi is that I use the term, our leaders are misleaders.
New World Order, right?
Our
I
leaders
know.
are misleaders.
New World Order.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, with that article, you can just say, "Well, take a look at Biden's speech on the Congress floor about 20 years ago. He mentioned the New World Order in 2 separate speeches. I guess he must be an anti-Semite too."
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Oh, this is so ridiculous. This is.
I think he is a member.
Exactly bullshit. This is just such bullshit. And I think it's easy for you to defend. I don't know whether or not you get a good judgment out of it, but it should be easy for you to defend. And for those who actually can understand English in the context of logic, I don't think you'll have a problem with those people. However, Americans nowadays are not especially filled with logic.
Joe, I know you probably haven't been here for years and years on this podcast. Sarge, if he's still out there, listen, I think he is. He's been on my show for years, calling in on and off. And over the past few years, he's been calling in pretty faithfully, probably almost like a co-host for me. And Sarge witnessed this firsthand when I had a couple of these guys on, and they called me and they hate me. This neo-Nazi group, they couldn't stand me. Threatened with Cyclone B. Remember that with Sarge?
Good. That works on your behalf too. You've got some arrows in your quiver. And plus the article itself. Somebody, not the reporter, but the guy named Wiley is supposed to be, one of the upper crust of the Republican Party. If he's stating this in the public record, like Ron said, like Boyd was talking about and what Sarge said, you've got a nice case, at least for public support, in my opinion. Whether or not you get a good civil judgment, who knows with the courts nowadays. But that report is absolutely, if not libelous, is absolutely defamatory and slanderous.
Yeah, and my character is no good. I don't deserve to be in society, a polite society. What do you mean by that? So do we have different societies in America? What society should I be in? Does he talk about I should go live in the city or something? What do you mean by this? You know, what kind of judgment is he trying to make about America? I don't deserve to be in a polite society. What's he trying to say? I mean, I'd like to read into that.
Be able to have your chance. Yeah, look, I think you've got me as a layman. I know very little about the court system outside that a lot of it is corrupt. But to me as a layman, I think you have a pretty good case on your side.
Yeah, I know Tave put one up in the chat room there, an article. I'm going to pull that up and see what he got there from the Charlotte Observer. I did some interviews today, and I don't remember all the interviews I do or who I talk to. I just give them, and I took your advice, Joe. Made sure I was on target and tried to stick to the issues and didn't let them try to slip me up at all. I didn't stutter, and I was pretty direct and forward. And they pretty much let me answer. So that's good. Good,
yeah. But you have to be, if you're going to move up in the polls, if you're going to move up in this campaign, you will be attacked by people who will act as junkyard dogs, and you have to be more prepared for the less polite, more acerbic type of interviewers. And again, as I've recommended before, you need to do some private interviewing, some practice in private, so that you can prepare yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, but they are making me out. My popularity has definitely grown. I mean, that's for sure. So this has to be played correctly. And I tell you what, the GOP, they're not making a friend with me. I mean.
Oh, yeah. No, you're the enemy. And for you, and to have the Republican Party have you as the enemy once you're against the New World Order. And plus, I've seen some reports that people are waking up to the New World Order. I think there's an increase in people who are aware of it, taken by some legitimate surveys. So that's on your side, too.
Yeah. Finally. 10 years ago, I wouldn't stand a chance talking about the New World Order. People would think I'm nuts.
Yeah, right.
You remember those days?
Oh, God.
I remember Mark Kenorky. I remember him. He's one of the guys that have always preached against the New World Order. And I remember him, and they were Sam Donaldson from Nightline had him on. They were trying to label him as some kind of kook, but today he's a hero, in the patriot community. So, this is how times have changed. They really have, and that's good. That's because of all the hard work we've been doing. People out there, that have been preaching against this stuff. Everybody who participates in shows like this or who's been talking against this stuff, it's because of you guys that we can start waking up. It's because of us out there standing up against this stuff. That's how we win. That's how we can win and turn the tide and change policy, restore our Constitution. I know it's an uphill battle. I know it's probably a losing fight, but we're still not going to ever give up. I'm never going to give in and sell my soul out,
Yeah. Joe.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this to you, and I think Montana Joe will agree with me, right? The one thing that I know of you, and it's just through the show and stuff, you are going to have to fight. And when I mean fight, I mean you're going to have to go into combat with yourself, because you have got to maintain control of you because they are going to come after you, and they will say whatever they think they can get away with and say to make you blow up. Okay, and go do something really, really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
that's there is their game plan. They are coming after you to make you do something stupid.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, they don't care what they're going to have to do to make that happen. But they are going to lie. They're going to do everything in their power to make Joe Gibson blow up in public in an uncivilized manner to prove their point. And, so that's what I'm telling you.
Let me say something here.
You need to control yourself.
Yeah, well, let me just say something here. I think one thing, too, you have to remember, for 3.5 years, I worked undercover for the DEA, okay? And they don't know what information I have and what I kept and records I kept. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have everything. And and I've got some things that I could really, 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 really do some damage. Okay? So I'm going to tell you that right now. So, and it's not being vindictive, it's not being out of spite, but I'll tell you what, maybe the general public should know some of this stuff on how they go about doing some of these things. You know, I wonder if any laws were broken. I never really looked at that. You know, or so, again, I think talking to an attorney maybe, and protecting myself.
Maybe.
I don't like attorneys,
Well, nobody does, really, unless you're really on the side. But Boyd is right. You can't, as far as blowing up, to me, I don't mind that, because I think that shows the nature of a person who's angered against the scumbags here who are against you, because you're against the New World Order and you're against the people who really don't want to abide by the Constitution. Excuse me. So if you get angry, to me, that doesn't bother me. But if you do say something, as Boyd was saying, that it makes you appear stupid, that's different. But to blow up, to be angry at an interviewer, hey, why not? You're fighting against their agenda, and everybody has the right to be angry. Just as long as you don't say something that's, that can be, you're always going to say something that can be twisted. So I wouldn't even worry about that. But as long as you've got the facts on your side, and as long as you don't say something that's really outrageous, hey, blow up. As far as I'm concerned, blow up all the time. You get angry at them and you make them eat their words.
Yeah. I remember I've got some connections, so that can maybe help me out. Maybe I'd like to find out about this Wiley guy. I don't want to play the character assassin game. I don't want to play the mudslinging game. I really don't want to. I'd like to stick to the issues, but I have to defend myself. And these guys, if they're dirty, I'm going to find out. So, and if they're dirty, remember, I did investigations. And if they're dirty, I'm going to find out.
Then you should. And you should. And anybody, if they're going to throw mud at you, I know what you're saying. You don't want to turn a debate into a mudslinging contest, because that takes up time. But you can defend yourself and at the same time present the issues in such a way that will make you show the people that you're angry against corruption. They're not proving their point. Why should they make their claim in public? Let them them prove their claim. If it's like Ron said, if it's a matter of public record that you're you were convicted of robbery, and that public record, not because it was expunged, but because it never occurred, then you're making that person out to be a real goddamn fool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw something else in here to go real quick on this topic. I've done thousands of interviews, thousands. Being a rock musician, I've done thousands of them. But one thing I learned, I was told by an old hippie musician, told me this one day. He goes, never let the interviewer control the conversation. You always keep control. You know what I mean? If they ask you a question about, that you were cited for this robbery, then you right off the bat, that was a lie. That never existed. Instantly turn it around on them. Because they're waiting. They want the interviewers, like they did with me, is like the one topic came up. There's the music I play. They were claiming. They stated that it has been known that I was a Satan worshiper, okay? which I'm not. I'm not a Satan worshiper, okay? I'm not, okay? And they really pushed that subject with me, you know? I let them talk with it. I said, well, what do you have to prove that I'm a Satan worshiper? How do you figure that? Because the songs I have done were already written. These ain't written by me. So how do you claim I'm the one? You know, how can you? What proof do you have that? And they sit there and phone around. They couldn't come up with an answer. So I said, no, I just made you look like a complete idiot. I did. I told them the way it was. Yeah. I don't care. But that's the thing. I kept control of the conversation. Don't let them control it, because once they take control, they're going to make it any way they want to sound like. They will do that. They will manipulate everything, and they will fuck you, okay? I got to use that word, but that's just the way it is. The first time I'm right, I do use it. So anyway, I'm telling you, keep control of the conversation. Keep control of the interview, period. You know, don't let them have control of it, because they'll twist you like a rag, man. You just don't want that. You know what I mean? I know it's between politicians and rock musicians. I get that, but no, it's still the same thing. Still the same thing in a way. You know, they're asking you questions, but they're giving when they give you answers with the question. That's when it's bad. They will do that. You follow me? Remember, if they give you an answer with a question, that's no, don't go that route. Anyway, just take control of it. Give me cool.
You know, I got to ask this question though. I mean, as you guys being voters, I mean, you know, I know you're politically awake. Everyone is pretty much listening right now tonight, and I know people have got their opinions too. And there's some out there that are listening that I disagree with, and we've had it out a few times. But I respect their opinions, and I know some of the stuff that they probably say is true also. You know, but at the same time, you know, you guys are awake. But this type of stuff, is this what we really want? Back and forth as soap opera? And in politics, I mean, don't we want to fix the country? I mean, do you think this gets people's attention, or what do we got to do here? I mean, is this something that?
Oh hell yeah!
You know,
are you kidding me? People are more interested in soap operas than they are in facts. If you can use that soap opera to your benefit, then you do it. People are only look. The reason why people vote for certain people is because the guy's got a healthiest hair, and the woman is prettier than her opponent. That is the way people vote. So the soap opera, they love it. So if the soap opera comes out against you and you have facts to defend yourself in a very clear manner, hey, as far as I'm concerned, that's on your behalf, Bibba. Okay?
Yeah, it's all in marketing. You're right, Joe. It's marketing. So when it comes down to marketing, they're selling something. They're selling something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This car is not good. You want to buy my car? That kind of deal. That's what you're dealing with. So there you go.
Huh. Yeah, I tell you what.
Well,
maybe
here's another thing. You know, if they try and bring up the robbery stuff and stuff like that, play with them. Say robbery? You mean that goddamn little piece of shit? You don't even know the half of it. When you figure out the rest of it, come talk to me and I'll explain.
Well, there was no robbery, so I'm going to let you know that right now. So there's no robbery. I'm not going to make one up. You know?
If they're lying, and that's what they're going to do, they're going to lie at you like that. You know, I would say something like this. Of course, I'm an asshole, but anyway, I say something like, well, what about that time when you raped your neighbor's dog? What about that? Can you explain that one to me?
Oh, man.
When you molested that cat and the cat got the best of you? Yeah, what about that, man? Let's tell your side of the story. You know,
oh boy,
son of a bitch.
Well,
that's just me. That's just me.
And there are Ron Rex soap operas.
Yeah. No, we don't want to be in here. We got. I understand what you're saying.
We're
I mean, I guess the Trump way
a little bit, you know.
I guess the Trump way
I seen
works.
the things you were doing with that chicken when you walked out of that fucking grocery store. I seen you with the chicken. I seen you.
Oh man, how are you?
And he was parked in handicap too. He was parked in handicap. He was having sexual ways with that chicken. I know it was. And it wasn't a boneless. It wasn't a boneless. It was a boneless chicken.
And I got photos of it. I know.
Oh well, we got shots of the bucket of liver, beef liver. We've seen that too. So there you go.
Well, here we are. Here's MSM. Here's MSM right here. See, now they don't even say alleged here. It's convicted GOP candidate with neo-Nazi ties to stay on ballot. That's not right. That's not right.
Oh, that is beautiful. Are you kidding? That is so beautiful. Somebody asks you about that right in a public interview. You go, oh, hey, I didn't do it. Since I didn't do it, don't you think that the people who are accusing me, not allegedly, but are actually accusing me, don't you think they have to prove it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a video of that chicken come out of the grocery store.
Hey,
you're right. The
also
chicken in the
tell
grocery
them. Also, hey. Also, just say the government agency that I was working for at the time will not allow me to speak about that.
Here we go. I'm reading the comments. They got comments on this article now, I guess. Let's see. The GOP only want to keep him as a head count. Are these types of people the Republicans want to run our country? Why am I not surprised with this Nazi? Is the new GOP? So we got. These are people writing comments underneath the article right now.
Oh, really? Well, they believe it, right?
Yeah, they believe it. So you see,
Joe, I know this person I'm about to refer to is not a reporter, but this is what she did is typical of what reporters do, just in a slightly different context. Look at Fonnie Willis. Now, the reporting about her quite accurately details her giving payments to someone to whom she was obviously romantically linked with, and she did not deny it in her little pity party speech at that church the other day. She didn't really deny any of the facts of the case, except she made up some of her own that apparently are not true. And she had the nerve to come up with this unbelievably arrogant and delusional phraseology like, it's not fair to expect black women to save the world. So in other words, she just launched into a narrative completely devoid of the actual issues that people are highlighting with regard to her case. Completely devoid of anything that is fact. Just a narrative and a directed conclusion by innuendo. And it was astonishing to watch. But what she did in her way was a political version of what the press does. And it's just so blatant. I don't understand why people I understand why people, well, let me not say I don't understand. I do, because it's simplistic and it's easy to follow. The big lie is easy to sell. You just repeat it over and over again. It doesn't require a lot of thinking or analysis. You just get emotionally stirred by it, and that's good enough. And when we're witnessing it here, it's exactly what Fonnie Willis did in a political sense, what these press reports. And the reason I mentioned Fonnie Willis is because it's another recent example of it. It's a recent example.
Yep. Well, I'm going to respond to these comments. I'll tell you that. I'm going to go right into them, but I'll be careful what I say, obviously, because, obviously people are going to start believing into this stuff, and that's what this article is on. Now, I've got a couple other articles about me, news report. I did a video. There's a news video out there, too. It gave me a pretty fair shake, actually, so didn't mention anything really about that Nazi crap. So, we started talking about the issue. So that's what I got to promote and stay out there and engage the voters with, obviously. I mean, look what they did to Donald Trump. They call him the same thing. He's a racist. So I'm going to have that woke crowd out there that are going to hate me now. I'm obviously now a racist.
They call him a KGB agent, for God's sake. They didn't just call him that. They call him a KGB agent. He's hiring hookers and peon mattresses that Obama slept on and all that crazy nonsense. They just said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen people so utterly alienated from truth and fact and even reason.
I know.
Sometimes.
It's insane. It's crazy. I got another private caller here. Let's see who this is. Private caller, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, this is John Doe.
Hey, John Doe. How you doing?
Hey, you know what? Don't miss an opportunity to, whenever you respond to these comments, to say, hey, I'm live on X show, and put the address to the show that you're on at that time. Right now, put your, BTR Joseph Gibson address in there and tell them, hey, let's talk the truth. Let's make sure it's pure.
There you go.
And it's true. And then that helps push your campaign.
I like that, John Doe. You're right. Hey, come on to the podcast show. You really believe I'm a Nazi? Let's get the truth out there. Let's talk about this.
if you
yeah,
happen
let
to
me
be
come
on
on. Yeah,
somebody else's
let
show.
me and Piaki come on there too at the same time.
Yeah, but don't forget. But Joe, don't forget when you're on other people's show, if you just happen to find a website while you're talking to people on their live show, to give them that URL address to come to that show and talk to you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know, that's,
you're right, John.
That's a good idea. And John Dotis gave me another idea. If you're going to be set up for an interview on a radio show or any kind of show, then why not simulcast it at the same time on your show right then and there?
Yeah. Yeah, true. That's true, too. These are great ideas, guys. I'm writing them down. I'm trying to type and write at the same time. So, good. But, yeah, these are great ideas, and I appreciate that. Because, sometimes when you're in the heat of the battle, it's hard for, obviously you got to think on your feet and fight, know how to fight. But I'm just saying sometimes it's hard to get all the information. I miss stuff. You'll miss some things. So, and you can't absorb it all in. But, I'm pretty quick on my feet still. It's not the first rodeo here, but at the same time. Yeah.
There is one important thing that you must do. Okay,
yes.
during this whole thing. Okay, it's because you have a radio show and a radio station. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, and you are going to have to. You have to invite your opponent onto the show.
I don't think he'd come on here. FCC rules?
FCC rules means everybody gets adequate airtime. On a station.
I think I read that. Yep.
Like when Larry Elders ran for governor in Washington or in California, right? He had to give up his show because the station. Yes, well, he does. You do. You have to give up the show, or the radio station is going to have to give your opponent equal time on the radio station on air. Okay.
I thought that those FCC rules didn't apply to Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Well, listen. I don't know, but I would try to comply with those rules just to cover your ass. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think it's a good idea. I agree with you. It's a good idea for him to do it just for appearance's sake. But I really don't think those FCC rules apply to the internet and Blog Talk because it's not broadcast.
Well,
FCC rules apply to a broadcast program.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if they do or not, but because those are rules that are out there about broadcast media, I don't think they narrowed it down to just broadcast radio and TV.
I don't know.
Let's not take a
No,
chance.
but he's right in one sense. He's right in one sense. Here's where he's right. You're right because they might put pressure on Blog Talk. Somebody else could put pressure on people on Blog Talk to pull you for it, even though the FCC rules don't apply. So he's right about that in a way.
I'll look into that.
But offer your opponent time to make his case on your show. Get to that Diane, whatever her frickin' name is, send her a formal invite to make her case, and anybody else involved in this, send them formal invites, RSVPs.
Yeah.
Keep a copy of it and everything, and send it to them and say, you're offering them blah, 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 time on your radio program on the internet to make your case.
That's a good idea.
And that covers it. And that means that those people, cannot try and twist the FCC rules on you because of your Blog Talk Radio show. And you made them the offer to come make their case.
No, I got that. Yeah. I make them the offer so they can appear on my show. Yeah, so they have a chance at equal airtime. Yeah, I got that.
And make it and make it via snail mail or email, whereas you have a verified, certified copy of what you sent them.
Yeah, I know. I know how to keep track of emails. Yeah.
Yeah, because really, Blog Talk is really wishy-washy. You never know what they're going to do in response to complaints. You never know. And so if you do what Ron is suggesting, and you have a solid basis to say, hey, I tried to play fair.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. No, I'm saying these are good ideas.
No, that's really a good idea. You really should. And besides, I think it'd be easier for you to expose them. I think you've got the truth on your side. The truth is always the best defense.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. The truth. That's what I say the same thing all the time. You're absolutely right.
And you have to, and in response to that, you have to keep track of radio and TV and the shows that are on them for those 2 or 3 people to appear on their radio show.
Yeah, as long as I make them the offer.
As if they appear on somebody's talk show in the local area, okay, especially on radio, you have the right to demand equal time.
I know. I got that. Yeah, I got that. Same thing happens with me. Same thing with me. It's just like them. Yep. I know. I've read that. Campaign rules and whatnot and finance rules. I've got all that. Because they got a whole book of information that you have to follow for donations and keeping track of things. And you know, oh, yeah, trust me. I definitely have to
take advantage of
it. They're going to be watching me. You know?
Take advantage of it.
Everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
But
I'm trying to sign into that damn website. I can't even sign in there. I can tell you that right now.
The what website?
This is ridiculous. That article there where they got the comments. They're starting to write comments about it. I can't even get signed into the damn thing. You know, it's ridiculous. I know this newspaper, the Northwest Observer or whatever. It's the Observer. It's a local paper around here. I used to advertise my business with them, actually. So it's just, but I can't sign in. So I mean, it just got some kind of Microsoft key or something. They won't let you in. I don't understand it. You know, I got to solve puzzles and everything. Do 18 jumping jacks. Give a blood test. Do an eye retinal scan. You know, I mean, ridiculous. You know, but but those are good points that you guys made. I mean, I just don't like the general public buying into stuff like this. I mean, they can write what they want about me, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, when people start making comments that they believe it based upon what some accusation that was made by a news media outlet. And Sarge, I know, you're right. That's what they do. And they've been doing it to Trump and many of them banning everybody throughout the last few years. We've seen it blow up. But, you know, but for me, a district candidate in an election like this is crazy. I mean, hopefully this doesn't get some kind of national attention. I mean, next thing you know, I'll have people from around the country wanting to, you know, I'll have neo-Nazis calling me. You know, I mean.
Joe, if they're mentioning stuff that's absolutely made up, fake, fabricated, or whatever, can't you request a retraction?
Yeah, I've done that already in a couple articles, and they just ignore me. You know, so it's
that means it's time to get a lawyer and file a civil suit of libel.
Oh yeah,
you know, and force them into.
I don't know too much about those. I'm going to talk to Ron about that. Ron said I guess he knows some stuff, but I don't know too much about libel or slander laws. I never really had to look into that. I know about the 1983s and other stuff I've done and a little bit of, stuff, what law I've studied throughout the years. But, in a way, though, it's all one big mess. I mean, when you get to these courts, I mean, it's these codes and statutes, civil rules of civil procedure, federal rules of civil procedure, and I've been studying this common law stuff, and so it's a lot of information to absorb, and it takes many, many years to study. And I get that, the David Strait videos that are out there and all this other stuff. But then you get into this sovereign movement, and I don't want to get involved with that because you start really getting a lot way off topic.
Well, I didn't say to play the sovereign rule. I didn't say to play any other. I didn't say to play any other rules other than
I got
get
some other
an
callers
attorney
here on the line too.
and sue them for libel.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. 407, go ahead, you're on.
Yeah, I'm sorry for having my phone. This is the third time that my phone's disconnected on me. Sorry for that.
That's
Okay.
all right.
And everybody
I got 407 too. Who's 407?
Hey, Joe, this is American Statesman. You don't have your chat room. You don't have your chat room open tonight. I've been listening, but I haven't posted anything.
It's open. It's open. The chat room.
Yeah, the chat room is open. I'm in it.
Oh, well, that's weird. It's not showing up. I logged in, but it's not showing up on my page.
Yeah,
weird.
I got about 7 or 8 people in there now. Yeah. So,
okay.
they're in there.
Well,
hey, Donnie C.
Another feature.
Have you refreshed your screen in a while, Sally?
Well, not since I started the show. I joined the show and I logged in, and typically that's when it shows up, but it's not there. But I can try that, and we'll see what happens. I mean, hey, what the heck?
Do you think, Sally?
I just figured since I had logged in right at the beginning of the show and it wasn't there, I figured he just didn't open the chat room. So it's like, whatever. No. Or the chat room was messed up. It has been known to do that too.
Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
No, not on BTR.
I know, we never have any technical difficulties.
No.
Last time I tried to refresh this page on this thing, it blew up. So it's like, be careful. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
look out.
I sent you some info, Joe, but I was curious because you have been adamant about fighting the casino, and apparently there's several groups or whatever out there fighting the casino too. Have you been able to connect with them and try to get their endorsement or support to help on your candidacy?
No, I have not actually. I reached out to the boys' home that they want to shut down, the kids' home, and I told them that I'm running for office, and if you guys want to, and they said thank you, we'll be in touch. So they're happy that I'm the only candidate that's standing up for them, because there's a kids shelter there. It's I don't know what kind of, I guess they all offer a kids camp there, to help out children and everything, and they're going to be shutting that down for the casino, and it's been there forever. So it's like a big it's a big staple mark of the community. Yeah. So that's another, so it's just a lot of bad things. Nobody wants this casino. They don't want it. They want to destroy beautiful land. I mean, beautiful farmland where they wanted to put it at. And, it's just, it doesn't it's not going to do any benefit for the community whatsoever. It's just not. Yeah. I looked it up. I've done the research on it, and it just hurts the community all around, every which way. It does not help out. It just doesn't. So it's a great idea. It sounds great, but it doesn't work. I mean, just from the research that I gathered and looked up.
Yeah, well, I saw that when I was doing some research to see who was trying to oppose it or whatever else. I saw several articles, and it seemed like there had been several groups, and I saw something about even a lawsuit now. Somebody's out there about a lawsuit to block it, whatever. So it's you would think you should be able to rally some of those people behind you and get some support there, it would seem like.
Oh, yeah.
Since you're opposing them, so.
Oh yeah, I've got a couple of people that financially are backing me actually. So I got a couple people that have stepped up to the plate actually. So it's been very helpful actually, because I'll tell you what, it costs a lot of money to do this, man. I mean, it's just things are so expensive, and just to buy the signs and the stickers and the posters and the banners, and then to get any airtime anywhere, it's very difficult. The traveling, the time. It's takes a lot of time-consuming effort. I mean, I didn't realize campaigning was going to be this hard, because last time I did it, like I said, my father was sick. He died. He died right in the primary, and you know, and there was a bunch of other things going on at that time, and I just really didn't dump too much time or energy into the campaign. I just put up some signs and got 22% of the vote, doing nothing. Imagine what I could do this time, you know, out there hitting the streets, talking to the people. You know, I mean, this guy's out of there as far as I'm concerned. But now they're throwing this Nazi crap in there. I mean, they're literally calling me a Nazi, not alleged now. They're literally saying that. I got the caucus leader, Stephen Wiley, here, who says I don't even belong in a polite society. How about that for a rhino dirtbag, huh?
Yeah. Well, you need to have a debate. Have somebody else host your show, and you have a debate with them on your show, or come on my show and have a debate with them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm going to put that branch out there, and hopefully maybe you guys who have podcast shows can say, hey, contact this GOP guy and say, hey, you guys are making all these accusations. Gibson's down for a debate. You know, I do a podcast show. You want to do it? You know, let's have a debate. Let's talk the issues. Get Mr. Pirtle up to your microphone there. Prop him up. You know, your puppet guy that you got, who's been bought and paid for several times over, who's been a candidate in politics now for, 30 years maybe, say 25 years, who's done nothing for the community. Put him up there and let's talk about the issues and the facts. And let's pull his record up. Let's see what he's really done. Let's talk. Let's have a discussion. Who's really qualified for doing this job? Who's the people's guy? Who's going to fight for the Constitution? Who's the real conservative here? Or who are the rhinos? Well, you know? Let's do this.
The other thing real quick, Joe, and I sent you an email on this, and we talked about this on one other show, in reference to there's only two of you running, correct? The two Republicans?
Yes.
At this point. Okay, and I did reach out to the supervisor of elections via email. I didn't call him. I need to call him during the day. Maybe then I'll get there and get an answer. But if there's only two, you really need to find out if that allows for those no party affiliates to vote in that primary too. That's all. Remember we were talking about that when there's only two people and they're in the same party. Yeah.
Yes,
so
you're right.
You definitely want to check into that.
Well, Sally, this I did find out from what my research found out that I looking up some actually this afternoon. The unaffiliated voters can vote, from what I understand, but anyone who's registered as a Libertarian or Democrat or can't vote in the primary. They have to stick to their party, and obviously they don't have anyone running in their party, like Green Party and whatnot. And they have a no label party now.
That's probably unconstitutional to be doing that if there's nobody in their party running. In a sense, it's the same as the no party affiliates, non-affiliates, whatever. If you don't have a candidate to vote for, that's probably not legal, constitutional.
I would think so,
for
right?
them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, because you're right. Because if a registered Democrat can't vote for that position or that office for the state, that means what? They don't have a say. They're not allowed to have a say in who holds that position just because someone from their party didn't step up and run. You're right, Sally. That's a good issue to bring up.
Yeah, it's a crazy process on how they block people from voting.
Yeah, yep.
In a primary,
they don't want Democrats voting.
Somebody better explain that to me, because if there's a primary between the Republicans and the Democrats, then
can you guys give me a second?
Yep, hang on, Joe. Yeah, Ron, you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Joe, you got my phone number. It's on your board, okay? Write that down and text me your number to me so we can talk privately later. Okay.
Yeah. Hang on, let me write it down. Okay. Before you go anywhere.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I just
go ahead, Joe.
my brain. I had a phone call, so anyway. No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, I understand.
I'm done.
I got it, Ron. I got you.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Because again, I'm a layman. I don't know. I don't quite. But to me, it makes sense that if the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, both of whom are really political organizations, but they're really secular organizations as well, if they've established rules that in order to vote for either one of their particular members, that you have to be a registered member of either being a Democrat or a Republican to vote in the primaries, it makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I'm a Libertarian, that they would want me to vote for either a Democrat in the Democratic primary or a Republican in the Republican primary.
When you
I don't
only
know if
have
that's
two
not...
candidates, though. The issue here is
Oh,
there's
is that
only
right?
two candidates. You only have two candidates, so and they happen to both be Republicans. Personally, I don't think they should even be a primary because I don't believe you should elect people. What's going to happen is someone's going to get elected in that primary, and that's not right. Because if they're elected in the primary and you're blocked out from voting, you get no say in it. So they shouldn't even have a primary when there's only two. But if they're going to have the primary and they're going to elect somebody in the primary, then everybody should vote.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. But what constitutes, Sarge, let's bring in our expert here, our expert. Sarge, how does the Constitution play into this? How is that it's affected constitutionally? I mean, run
that question by me again there, Joe. What was that question again?
Go ahead, Sally.
Okay, here's the deal. You've only got two people who are running for office, and they happen to both be in the same party. What's going to happen is, first off, as I just stated, my own belief is you should not have a primary if there's only two people. It should go to the general. Because there's really no primary. You're having an election. There's only two people. You're going to elect somebody in the primary, and I really don't think you should be electing people in a primary. But if that's what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and let this go. Everybody should be allowed to vote in that primary because there's only two and there's only one party. Otherwise, the NPA vote absolutely no vote, and of course that's the same with the other parties. Because someone's going to get elected in the primary. You only have two people. Someone's going to get elected in the primary, which is one other thing you need to remember, Joe, too, on your side. Because of that, and depending if this person's an incumbent, they're going to have their GOPers out there already rallied up. And a lot of people, especially the NPAs, and even Republicans, are going to think, oh, it's only the primary. I'm not going to worry about the primary. I'll vote in the general. There's not going to be a general because you're going to elect somebody in your primary based on everything I'm saying.
Yeah, because I was just about to say,
look at it that way.
What Sally just finished saying. If the primary is between two people, and if the result is the same as the general, it is the general. So all people should vote. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah.
Is it past the filing? I assume it's past the filing deadline, right? And all that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Yep. We're past. They already got the ballots printed them up. Early voting's already started.
So in effect, then the primary is the general election. In effect, the primary is the general election.
Correct.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I think this is an issue that has not been decided by the courts. I don't see any constitutional impediment to it, or I can't think of any precedential ruling that would prevent a primary from being issued. Like, I think that's something. I think you might be breaking new ground with that one.
It's interesting because we have Democrats that can't vote. The Democrats are going to have no say. Who North Carolina House Representatives
Democrats and the no party affiliates. Yeah. You really need to go out there for that particular county, the ones that would be voting. If you can find, I'm sure you can find out. Talk to the supervisor elections. Find out how many are registered voters in that county, how many of are NPAs, other parties, and then the Democrats. And so you're going to have a very small group, probably less than 40. Probably somewhere around 20-30% that are actually Republicans who will be electing somebody, and the 70% will be totally omitted from the process, which isn't correct. They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
It's really,
wow, Sally.
Because in your state constitution probably states something in that state constitution that everybody has the right to vote. Well, you don't have the right to vote if you're going to elect somebody in a primary in a closed primary.
And that's a point that you can use. That's another arrow in your quiver. You can say this is something else that the GOP is using against me, and they're excluding you from voting for me.
Look at the way the courts. Look at the loose way the courts have interpreted the Voting Rights Act. I certainly think you can make that argument, given the sort of ruling that the court has come up with about violations of the Voting Rights Act. We literally just had a judge saying that black people had a right to have their viewpoint expressed, whatever that viewpoint is supposed to be. The judge didn't define what a black viewpoint is, but he said whatever that is, they got a right to have it represented. So, I mean, I I mean, we got courts, I think, just making up things about law. I don't see why you can't make that argument.
Well, I need to clarify something. Here. You are telling me, Joseph Gibson, your name is on the ballot, right? And they have been printed. Okay, so your name is on the ballot. So in the real world of retardation, if you were at the wrong, I believe that the officials would not allow that. So there is kind of another arrow in the quiver, because the fact of it is you are on the ballot. So if you're on the ballot, they would be at the wrongdoing. They'd be doing wrongdoing because you are an ex-convict, or you're a robber, or you're a gun possessor, or you're an American. See, so since you're an American, it shouldn't be allowed. But that makes it even sweeter. That makes it a whole lot sweeter. I was just off the phone with a friend of mine in Pennsylvania. He's a lawyer. And we have a chit-chat. We'll talk later on that, but I'm just telling you, man, it looks like it's going to be fun. It's like a day at Six Flags. I'm going to love it. Whether you win or lose, somebody's going to fucking lose. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. Start shopping now.
Sounds good.
Start shopping now. I'll have to fly to you. I'll have to fly up there, but hey, it'll be worth the money. I would love to spend that money.
Yeah, man.
Do it.
Everybody, we'll party. Yeah. Hey, we got Pianki on here now, so go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Party on, Pianki.
Ron, we owe it to Ron.
Well, Pianki's from my neighborhood, St. Louis, so, you know, he's old North St. Louiser, I think.
Well, I'm in Louisiana, but, you know.
Well, I know that, but, I mean, we're old soul brothers from fucking North St. Louis, man.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, so, you know.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. See, these courts have gotten completely out of hand. Let me explain this. They say that the court says that Louisiana has to form an all-black district, voting district. Okay. Well, we know that's discrimination. What they're trying to do is corral blacks into one area, whereas they can vote for a black legislator to go to Congress, to the big house. But also, check this out. If you create an all-black district, what are you doing to the school? Now you got a segregated school system. So how do we solve that problem? You bust white kids out of their neighborhoods over into the black district in order to integrate it? That's a bunch of bull crap. And people need to complain about this. You're not going to when you go to bust black kids out of their neighborhood into white districts, black people be raising all kind of hell.
Yeah.
So to let the court come up with there's nothing in the Constitution saying that the court is supposed to create a voting district. That's up to the states.
Yeah, things are getting out of control. I mean, they're trying to alienate everybody. I mean, they kick this one off the ballot. What's with these challenges all over the country? I mean, this isn't just happening to just me. It's happening all over the country. I mean, it started with Donald Trump, but this is like it seems like a new movement now. I challenge. I don't want Trump on the ballot. You know, he's an insurrectionist. I don't want Pianki on the ballot. He's black. Now, it's crazy. What's going on here, man? I mean, you know, we're destroying our right to vote. We're allowing these people to pick it apart and discredit it. That's what they're doing.
Okay. Can I get it? Can I get in here again?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Having worked on numerous campaigns up here in Alaska,
with the Eskimos?
You're not, huh?
With the Eskimos, right? I gotta say that because I'm a neo-Nazi, you know.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
We got them all. We got them up here too, but not like Idaho. Anyway, listen. Just because you win the primary does not mean that you cannot face a challenger in the general. Okay?
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying here. That's what they're saying.
No. Don't believe it. Because of the fact that what's going to happen is at the primary, zap. Okay, you won the primary. That puts you on the general election ballot. Now, if nobody else files to be on the general ballot, then yeah, you're pretty much already in. But don't take that for granted. Okay? Somebody may file after the primary to get on the general.
Done. No, the deadline is over with. There's no more filing. That's it. You can't file to run no more. That's it. That ended already. The filing period.
I would have somebody double check that. Okay.
I already have.
Because we have had people who didn't go through a primary process get on the ballot as independents or whatever. Okay.
I'm letting you know right now. I'm letting you know that's it. The filing period is over. You cannot. If there's nobody that can come after the primaries of March 5th and say I want to run against, just say I lose or I win, just say against Joe Gibson as what are they going to run as? You can't file as an independent. That's already that deadline passed. You can't file as a libertarian. That already passed. You can't file as a Republican. Clearly, Democrats you can't because the filing period's already ended. And that's it. There's no other parties recognized in North Carolina.
Okay, Joe, real quick, if I could throw you some numbers out here.
Let me also.
Go ahead.
Let me also, for the second time that I know I've said this, I strongly suggest that you go and get yourself a campaign manager. You can't do this by yourself. We have sat here in a brainstorming session on your radio show, and we threw 100 ideas at you on how to get your ass elected. But you don't have time to sit down, study them all, and put them in an order for a plan of attack. Okay?
Yep.
I heard. I think it was Montana Joe say to go talk to the folks that you know of that are the group that is against the casino. Well, you made a phone call, blah blah. Okay, you made a phone call. They haven't got back to you. Your campaign manager's job would be to go over to that location, sit down in a chair until he could speak to somebody. Just don't wait for them to call you back.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand because the boots on the ground, getting more people involved. I ain't got that. Sally, you want to say something too?
Yeah, I was going to read off some numbers. I posted a couple of them out there. In Rockingham County, there's a total of 61,146 voters. Out of those, 17,499 are Dems, 24,231 are Republicans, 19,041 are no party affiliates, unaffiliated, and then scattered on the other, Green Party 12, Libertarian 331, and something else out there, 32. But the main thing is you got 19,000 non-affiliate, no party affiliation, unaffiliated voters out there, and you have 17, almost 17 and a half Democrats who will not be any part of this election if they have a closed primary and somebody gets elected in the primary. And that's part of the reason, of course, why they didn't want you on the ballot, because then there's no election and the other person is just automatically there.
Yep, and they get the casino. Yep, because I'm the only guy speaking out against it. Yeah. 60 seconds, guys, and we're going into overtime for a little bit here. We can do a little bit of overtime, but we're going into overtime. So anybody wants to call in, 657-383-0616, press number 1. And anybody who's on, don't hang up because you won't get back in. But, yeah, that's a good point. Sally, but are you sure the unaffiliated voters can't? I thought the unaffiliated voters can vote because they're not registered to a party.
Well, that's why you got to check how it is there in that county. I can tell you in Orange County, because that's where I ran, and it's true in this county where I'm at too. In Orange County, There were certain races that were nonpartisan. Everybody voted. But when it came to the state house and the state senate and the U.S. House and Senate, whatever, those were all closed primaries. So the no-party affiliates did not vote in the primary at all. They could vote in the nonpartisan piece, which most of them didn't know about. They could also vote if they stuck a referendum on the primary ballot, which they played games with that plenty of times too. But the majority of no-party affiliates think that they are totally excluded from the primaries. And what happened here in Jackson County, Florida, there were only 2 candidates. They had closed primaries for county offices, which was different than Orange County. There were only 2 candidates, and they were both Republicans. And like 2 weeks before the actual election is when they, everybody votes in this primary because there's only 2 candidates and someone's going to get elected. And that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely voter suppression. I mean, my goodness.
Talk about a rigged system.
That's why you need a campaign manager, because you're talking to the voters. You don't have time to get into the weeds on the election. And if you do take the time to get into the weeds on the election law and process, you're not out talking to the voters.
Yeah,
and you're not talking to the right people.
I understand that. Believe me, I'm out there. I'm working, and I don't understand what you're saying. I understand what it takes. It's very difficult to, even in a district like this. Imagine a statewide. I can only imagine the staff you must have to have, on a statewide election where you're running for governor or lieutenant governor or something
Joe,
like that.
like you're not on your mic, right?
Can anybody hear me? I know we let Blog Talk screwing up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, it must have been something with Blog Talk Radio, because I know I don't have to stand here on my head here, so I'm on a PC laptop. I'm not a laptop. I'm on a PC desktop. That's what I use for my studio. So it's just strictly for Blog Talk. So I mean that's my studio. Well, I got a big monitor right here, so it's I got a headset. So it's I got a microphone, but I don't like using it because for some reason I can't tell if anyone can hear me or not. It's just weird. What do you use, Sally? Do you use a headset or a microphone, or what do you use, a phone or?
Yeah, I use a cell phone with a headset.
Yeah, I like doing that too. I had that microphone. I bought one of those microphones. I just don't like it. It picks up all the other sound too in the room. I don't know. I just don't like it. But anyway, the campaign manager thing, you guys are absolutely correct. Like I said, I've got some good supporters out there that step forward. Thank God for them, man. I don't know how I'd be able to do this. But, I got to win this, because anything short of winning is going to be a joke. And now they smeared my name. I mean, this is bad. I think a lawsuit or something filed at the courts would definitely be beneficiary on my behalf to save my name, because all this, they're making it sound like I'm out there in the streets, throwing the Roman salute up in the air. I mean, come on. This is crazy.
Here's a suggestion to go find a campaign manager. This group that is opposed to the casino, you need to go talk to them. Okay? They're opposed to the casino. You're opposed to the casino. Now, you should go talk to them and see if they themselves can help you, one, financially, two, at least maybe provide you assistance as a campaign manager.
Yep.
They're managing their own
already. Yeah, I've already spoken to a couple people that trust me, so I don't want to put too much out there because there's other people listening. So I don't want, too much inside information going out there, because, this is a serious issue. And there's a couple people have gotten their windows smashed out over this too, I've been told. So it's a very serious issue. I mean, where there's a lot of money involved. We talk about millions of dollars, so, you got to be careful. Some people want to remain silent, so I don't want to expose anybody, or put, certain individuals, because, people don't understand this. Casinos and everything, you're talking, there's a very serious issue. There's, a lot of land involved, other businesses, and these outside developers that are pouring in this money to these, that have already paid these candidates a lot of money, and we're getting to the bottom of that too. So, but I don't think anything illegal was done. So, but they're, and a lot of them are doing it openly, which it shows the bluntness and the conceitedness of these representatives we have. It's terrible.
Well, but I am. All I'm saying is that you can't get all the information you need, plus talk to the people you need to, and everything. It's too much.
I know. I can't do it on my own. I know. It is too much. But I'm going to do what I got to do regardless.
We're all here telling you what to do, possibly how to do it, and all of that other crap. Okay, and everybody that I've heard, I would say is correct. Okay, there's a few ideas that I saw that I heard float out there that I said, yeah, okay, but no, if I was the campaign manager, I would say that's on the very bottom of the list of things to do. But that's why I'm saying a campaign manager, to be able to prioritize what's going on and what you need to do and what can be done simultaneously while you're out talking to the voters that the campaign themselves can do outside of your personal presence in there, and that's all I'm saying.
No, I know. I got you. I understand completely where you're coming from. I understand.
And I know in the campaigns that I was in, at some of the meetings and the campaign meetings that we were in, we had some really knockdown, drag-out fights, okay, over what to do, how to do it, how to attack this person or whatever. And
let me ask
this
question. Yeah, I know. I don't really like. See, I don't like this attacking people's thing. I just don't like it. I think it takes away. I know I got to do it. And I understand what you're saying. I got that, but I just don't. I mean, I want to be careful because a lot of people are sick of that. I mean, they want people just go in there and do the damn job that they were hired to do and stop the bull crap. I mean, they don't like this gamesmanship of trying to gather attention and the character assassinations and putting yourself on and trying to get yourself in a higher position of nobility so everyone else can, so you can make more money. That's, a lot of people I've spoken to are against that, and I got to be careful,
But okay, listen, you're not attacking your opponent who is an incumbent if he's not doing his job, and you point it out, hard and heavy. You're not attacking.
But listen to me. Listen to me, everybody.
Really
Hang on. Let me explain something. He isn't saying anything. The GOP is doing all this. That's what's got the red flags going up. He hasn't said nothing. So nothing on his social media, nothing on his website. So these GOP rhinos are doing this, and that's because that's where all So it's I got to look at why are they doing this. Is there something else out there too? I mean, I got to figure this out. Why they're doing this? I mean, they're really. I mean, to make these accusations is very serious.
I've been in some internal party fights, okay, and that's kind of what you've got going right now, is an internal party battle that is in the public eye, and it can get very nasty and very public, very loud and stuff. And I have been involved in campaigns that were just that type of campaign, and you got to play the rules as the rules lay out, and you sometimes break the rules every once in a while because you have to. Okay.
Well, yeah, it depends what rules you want.
Listen, Joseph. Listen, nobody gets into this stuff completely clean. You're not. You can sit there and be Mr. Clean all you want. And when it's all said and done, you're going to be clean. You're going to be okay with yourself because of the campaign that you ran, but you're not going to be in office.
Yeah. No, I understand
to be able to do what you're trying to do for everybody.
All right, hang on. I'm trying to ask this question here. I want to ask this question though, because I don't know too much about this organization. What is the ADL? What are they? I mean, I know, I just don't know too much about them. I mean, what do they do? I mean, I've heard of them, obviously. I mean, everyone has. But but I've never really paid any attention to them because they really they really didn't matter to me. You know what I mean? There's whatever they say or whatnot. But then I started looking at these articles, and it seems like this is what they basically focus upon, is going after the Klan and these Nazi groups and whatnot. I mean, is that what their purpose is, the ADL? I mean, who funds these people? Are they a legitimate organization, and what are they? I don't know. Does anyone know out there? What is the ADL? Sarge, somebody?
It's a group that supposedly tries to protect against things, and there are fights that they take up that are righteous, okay? And then there are fights that they take up that are very, very questionable. Just like the ACLU. I can remember when the ACLU was the ACLU, and they fought tooth and fucking nail for the Klan to march in Gary, Indiana, when everybody was fucking against them. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Those are the kind of battles. Those are the kind of battles that the ACLU used to take up, because it was First Amendment speech and everything else, and they were very pro-Constitution. Nowadays,
I like that then.
Not so much. Okay. Same with the Anti-Defamation League. They are kind of drifting off of their primary objective.
Okay. John Doe, you want to say something?
No, I was just going to ask if the ADL that you're referring to, was referencing the Anti-Defamation League. It's just another one of those discrimination groups, kind of like the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh God, yeah, they're the Morris D's and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't stand for anything that's patriotic, really. I mean, so I don't know. I wonder who funds them. How this goes with them today.
Just like Boyd said, though, sometimes these groups, whether it be ACLU or whoever, they jump on legitimate issues, but that doesn't mean everything they do are legitimate issues.
They're opportunists then. So they see it. They're like ambulance chasers, right?
Well, they have their own agenda. It's just like all of us. We all have our own set of values, morals, ethics, and principles, and that's what we're going to push. If we put together our own 501c3 organization and we want to go root out corruption, then we're going to pick on people that are the opposite of whatever values, morals, ethics, and principles we're trying to push.
Yeah,
and
right.
in reference another thing in reference to earlier, you were saying about the cost of all this stuff, and then you're talking about slander and libel with these lawsuits. Don't forget about the resources with the Postmaster General. They have an investigative general division. If somebody's sending this stuff through the mail, that's a mail fraud. And it didn't cost, back in the late 80s when I used it, it didn't cost me anything to file my reports and any of the information to try to get them to look into the case. And then the Attorney General of your state, they have an investigative consumer protection group, and that didn't cost me a nickel. It didn't cost me a penny to use that either. But if you want to go for the real juggler like Ron's trying to or seem to be sharing with you about, go with his direction, and maybe you can get a whole bunch of money out of it. But if you want to just kind of test the waters and not put it forth a bunch of money and at least try to get something credibility from an authoritative source, if you think that the court system has any justice, or the Postmaster General or the Attorney General of your state, then those are at least resources that you can exercise as an authoritative source of reference for whatever your claim is. But back to you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, John Doe. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah. It's interesting.
The one thing I'm going to say about John Doe's comment, he is correct, and that you can do all that. The only drawback that I see on that is timing. When is your primary? In March?
March 5th.
March 5th. You ain't got the fucking time. You can go file all that stuff with them, but I doubt you'll get any satisfaction from them until after the election. Okay?
Yeah, I know that. Unless I file a TRO.
That's the only comment I have on what John Doe just said. He is absolutely
unless I file an emergency. Unless I file an emergency TRO with an emergency, preliminary injunction where I can get an emergency TRO and have these media outlets stop, printing Nazi stuff. But I doubt they would force them to do that, because that would be, now you're getting into a major First Amendment freedom of the press and everything. I got to get a jury to say that they're liable, and like you said, it's going to take a long time then to do that. That's going to say they're liable for what they've done. They've caused me harm. Now, what harm have they caused me? Well, the election. If I win the election, how do I prove that then?
Well,
I don't know.
They've no matter what, they have caused you personal harm and libeled against you. Okay, against your reputation as a person. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That in and of itself will justify taking them to court. Okay, and even if nothing comes down from the courts until after the election, you still get the awarded settlement. Okay, and it gets put in the newspaper that these individuals in this group, did some really bad things. Okay.
Yeah. I got you.
Which hopefully will stay in the voters' memory and mind come the next election cycle.
They don't feed in. I'm going to tell you right now. Hang on. Let me tell you something. The people in my community, remember, I owned a business here in this community for a long time. And I was a landscaper, so I was out and about with the working people. I knew where the gravel stuff, the nurseries, where you get supplies and everything. So everyone knows me pretty much around here. And I'm gonna tell you right now, these people, they aren't gonna feed into this crap. I don't have, I'm not like New York City where you have a whole entire city that's brainwashed. These are country folk, country boys out here. I mean, these people know me, and they're not gonna feed into this nonsense. There's just no way. I just don't see it. I bet there's people right now who know me and saying, that Joe, come on, he ain't no hot Nazi. They're probably laughing. These guys now with a beer in their hand laughing.
I don't know about that.
Well,
you may
have a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you. You're really going to like it. Before we
all right, I love it. Huh?
You will.
What's that? I didn't hear you.
You will like it. I'm not saying what it is. To everybody.
Okay, I got you. I understand. All right, I got you. Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody, let's do some closing thoughts then, because we're already into overtime. They're going to cut me off here in 20 minutes. That's what my clock says, my red clock. So anyway, get everyone closing thoughts, because I got to talk to Ron, and I got a lot of stuff going on. He's going to be doing a show later on tonight, so we're going to be tuning in to that Crazy Nation radio there. So everybody that's listening, I know I got a bunch of people called. Well, it's full, but and I got a bunch. Joe, I lost my fan of Joe. I was thinking a couple other people were going to call him, but they didn't. So, but anyway, go down the line here. Sally, you first, I guess.
Okay. Well, definitely check in to who all is going to actually be elected, who's going to vote on your primary, because someone's going to be elected on that primary day, most likely. So if I were you, I'd definitely see who all is going to be, who's eligible to vote. I really am very curious as to how they're going to handle that, and then you know who to be targeting as well too. So you get those no party affiliates, you won't have to focus so much on any of those Dems or whoever. Of course. Whoever they're going to let vote, you got to find out who they're going to let vote. If you're going to have 24,000 voters out of Republicans vote out of 61,000 voters, that's probably a problem. So anyway, but good luck with that. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I'll call
that.
your.
Thank you.
I am going to call the Board of Supervisor Relations there and ask about the closed primaries tomorrow, because now I'm just very curious about it. And
I am too. Actually, you got me thinking.
Yeah,
you got me thinking about that too. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I really do. I appreciate all your help, and I read all your emails you send me. So, yeah, I mean, we've got to help each other out, the patriots across this country. We have to. Let's see, Sarge, any final thoughts? You've been pretty quiet tonight. Usually, you're right on there, right on the ball there, interrupting. Bianchi took off too, that little devil. But go ahead.
Well, actually, I've just been taking notes because I'm next time around I'm gonna have a few things to say on some of the things I heard. But another thing you might want to consider in addition to all of this keeping you off the ballot, you're like a mini version of what they're doing to Donald Trump. I mean, I suppose election fraud is probably in the cards too. They intend to make sure that you lose no matter what. I just want you to keep that in mind. It's not just keeping you off the ballot. If you're on the ballot, they probably want to make sure whatever fraud they need to have will be in place so you will lose. From their point of view, they cannot afford to allow you to win.
Yeah, you're right. Pretty scary, actually, when you think about it. What else are they going to pull? Yeah,
it is. I think election integrity is either almost as big or as big as the immigration issue. I mean, I really can't think of another issue that's really more crucial than that. I mean, the whole point of everything is the reason we don't go to war with each other is because we believe we can have honest elections that honestly resolve the political conflict. And I don't mind losing if I believe the results are honest.
Yeah.
But with this situation we got going here now, there's just no way to believe that. And they won't institute reforms and deny there's even anything wrong.
Yeah. Sarge, one hopeful thing, though, is they did rule according to the law, though. They did stick with the law. The law was in my favor, and they had to obey the law. And I kept pointing that out. So that's one hopeful thing. That's one good thing that did come out of this. I mean, imagine if they kicked me off the ballot.
You point out the corruption and all that, but they are Republicans. I mean, this is more like a Democrat thing. I mean, yeah, the Republicans are insufficient. Okay, now you have to argue that to me, but they're not as crazy as Democrats on most of these things. When they were confronted with the law and what the procedures are, and it's pretty much black and white, most of the time they'll back down from it. When something is shaded or shady, yeah, they'll go to the wrong side of it. But this was pretty clear. I mean, it's black and white. It's written there right there in black and white. And Republicans aren't as crazy as the damn Democrats. They just declare an insurrection because you oppose an election.
I know. Huh?
I mean, Republicans ain't quite at that stage yet.
Yeah, but Sarge, don't forget some of these Democrat wolves are in Republican sheep clothing, parading around as such.
No, we got to watch out for all of them. You're right. Everything about them is to be viewed with suspicion. So I'm definitely agreeing with that. Everything about them, you should view askance. Like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. You don't even have to trust, just verify.
Yeah. Mr. Ron Reck, you want to say something here at the end here? Promote your show?
Yeah, Crazy Nation Radio. Tonight we're going to be interviewing Joe Gibson. We're going to rip him apart to see what he's all about and see if he's telling the truth and the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help him God. And we're going to go after the evildoers that are, kind of fucking with it, So And what I got in store for these people, they're really not going to like me. But I am from Missouri, and I believe in this show me state. So we're going to have some fun with this. I am. I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you, Joe. I'm going to give you a good hand to help you along. But the election ain't here yet. But before it gets here, boy, do I got something for you. You know, in the world of music, you learn about advertising. So it all comes in handy. I'll tell you later about the actual real deal, but just to fuck what people said. Now, I'm doing that. So anyway, yeah, the Crazy Nation Radio will be on at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. At 10 o'clock, that's an hour and a half from now, so tune in, be there, don't be square, don't be a sissy, don't be afraid of me, you know, and, you know, I am mentally challenged, you know, and I'm supposed to be loved. I'm supposed to love the handicapped people and, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, but yeah, Joe, we're going to rock and roll this bad motherfucker, man, because, you know, the problem of it is there's so many dishonest people that win all the time, you know, and that's, you know, I mean, like Donald Trump was not the most perfect guy, but he's better than what we could have had. You got to think about that. That's why he's so popular now, because he did do the right thing. Things were better when he was the president, even though he did some shit, you know, like the gun deal with the, you know, the bump stock shit and all that Mickey Mouse shit. That's just minor on the good shit he did. That made up for all that. So, you know, I mean, you know, what Biden did has been a catastrophe. It's all been a catastrophe. We got to get rid of people like this. These people are in it for the money. They're in for all the wrong reasons. I mean, look at all the conflicts we got going on. We need honest people like you, Joe, to step in there and do the job. But the evil doers that are going against you don't want you in there. Don't fuck up our scam. Don't do that. We want to do all the for all the wrong things that we do. We'd have you in there. We'd get you in there for us. Now the other guy, they're in there for this guy. They're throwing up all kinds of money to get this guy in. They're advertising him like a cheap trick because they want him. He's an evildoer. He will do what they say, and you're not. That just makes you the bad guy to them. You're not the bad guy, but you are to them. So, you know, and then all these lies and bullshit reasons, that's what I'm going to have fun with. That's where I'm going to come in on this. And if I have to fly up there, so be it. No big deal. I can afford it. Just to start.
I'm a rebel.
I'm like it. I am. You know, I believe in the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the fucking truth. You know, quit bullshitting people around. They just stop this. You know, if we had some honest people in politics, this wouldn't be happening. And like earlier, the discussion earlier was about this being a soap opera. I've said this thousands of times. It's all it is. It's all show. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that this is not America. This is the United States, corporate control fuckers. They're trying to control everything. They don't want people like you, me. They don't even want me to exist. And I'm not running for shit, but I'm a person, I call it out. And I've done it in many elections. I've done that to many people. Tell me the truth. And, boy, man, they get bent out of shape over that. Crazy, isn't it? Why has it got to be that way? Why do we have to live like this? Is that the way we're supposed to be? You were supposed to be honest with each other. Good God, if there is a God, I don't, you know, I question that too. You know, I am, but I question everything. So that's my thing. Anyway, I'm done running my mouth. But I'll run it at 10 o'clock. So be ready for that.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I like that. That's the first time I ever heard you really give a heart-to-heart monologue there, and call yourself an ass and me an ass and everyone else in a nice way.
Absolutely, ain't no other way. Yeah, right on, brother.
I love it.
Right on. God bless you.
All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
Right.
Alaskan there, you want to say something real quick? Or again, John Doe, I'll let you go last, I guess. I guess he's not there. I guess he was there. Alaskan. Boyd.
Hello. Sorry. My dogs were giving me the evil eye. I had to give them some food.
I don't blame them either. They should.
Hey, I pretty much think I said what I needed to say for tonight. I'll think it's probably some more BS for Ron's show yet tonight. But, you know, We're on our way. You got an uphill battle, and we're all trying to be your campaign manager, and none of us can be, just because we're not there, and we're not very familiar with the Carolina election process.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate all the advice tonight. John Doe, I know John Doe, I know you've been listening to me for years. I know we've spoken privately many times over the years, so go ahead, you get the last words.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, you, Joe, and Sally, and Boyd, and Ron, and Pionki, and Montana Joe, just everybody calling in today is encouraging. We actually feel like for a change we got some resolved on some issues that we can make some changes on, and the participation and people trying to do what they can to help make this place a better place, it just makes me giddy. I just love it. I just want to say thank you to everybody and look forward to the next visit. Have a great week.
Thanks. You're absolutely right. Yeah, good, Joe, positive. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I got one question. It's on the casino. The casino initiative and stuff. Is this going to be a statewide vote for the casino, or just a county vote for the casino?
Well, it starts off with the county, and then but the state legislature, the state obviously has to approve it. The state, so then the governor in the end would have to sign off on it, I would imagine, because it has to do with gambling, statewide gambling.
Okay, all right. That was the answer I was looking for.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Hey, yeah, make sure you tune into Ron Rex show here at the end, and trying to pick something here for the end here, end song here. So, but anyway, all right, hey guys, thanks, man. God bless the Republic. God bless you guys. And yeah, I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna be in this to fight and win, but I can't do it without you. So, God bless our Republic.